You may be surprised to know that in my videos thus far, I have never actually done a broadcast about Passiontide. Passiontide is the last week of Lent. It's the week before Easter. It's technically speaking the week that everything happens, or rather everything happens apart from the actual main event, because that starts the Easter season. There is a lot involved in Passion Week in a very short amount of time, and it would be a little bit silly to mark each and every occasion, otherwise you would be getting rather a lot of me over a 1 week. Up until now I've done my Easter dedication, and I still plan on doing that. But I thought outside of the Easter dedication, I would actually, in the next couple of years, do a series sort of marking the occasion of Passiontide and talk about a different part of that each year. Obviously, I'm going to start chronologically, and Passiontide begins the Sunday before Easter. So it's the last Sunday of Lent. And if we set this into chronology, okay, this was the arrival of Jesus into the city of Jerusalem, which of course is where he would die a week later. Now, to understand this fully, we have to look at it from a Jewish point of view. The Jews at the time had their Old Testament, and their Old Testament gave them prophecies. The prophecies concerned a renewal, so to speak, of the Jewish lands, of the Jewish nation as a kingship. Frightfully important to remember that, because the Jews were not a free nation at the time. They did have a king, and he was not really a king in terms of a royal dynasty or anything like that. He was basically an overhyped provincial governor who ran things on a local level for the Romans. So the whole of the Holy Land was occupied under it was part of the Roman Empire. And King Herod was the sort of oligarch, if you like, and he contributed very well to the Jews. He helped them extend the temple that was rebuilt when they returned from their exile. So he wasn't anti-Jewish particularly, but he wasn't sort of naturalistic in terms of a proper Jewish king for a Jewish nation. And this is what the scriptures and the prophecies promised. Now, the problem here is that we know that there are 2 instances in which Christ approaches Jerusalem. And that is not made clear in these prophecies at all. The prophecies are mixed, if you like. One prophecy, but it's speaking about 2 different times at which Christ enters Jerusalem. Now, the first time Christ entered Jerusalem, we know, is part of a plan of salvation. He's not entering Jerusalem to overthrow Herod. He's not entering Jerusalem to free the Jews from the Romans. He's not there to do that at that point in time. We believe as Christians that he will come again, and at that point when he enters Jerusalem, he will overthrow anybody who steps in his way. And the problem is that the Jewish, because it wasn't specified in prophecy that there are two times, and the overall sort of view of the prophecy is it will all end up all right in the end, here they are thinking, he has arrived to save us. And it's not a too far-fetched view, considering where they were in history. You know, you can't blame them for thinking that. The prophecies are deliberately misleading in that respect, I believe. They are deliberately misleading in that respect. Only after the resurrection does it become obvious what these prophecies mean. And of course, to the Jews, prior to the revelation, prior to the resurrection, it can mean only one thing: fulfillment of prophecy and fulfillment of what we now call the end times philosophy, theology. They were cruelly mistaken. However, at this point in time, they were very, very excited, because here he comes into the city. And they were so excited that they put loads and loads and loads of palm branches for his little donkey to walk over, the little donkey that was carrying him in, and they had very, very high expectations. This is also about public opinion, and that's something that the Romans knew a lot about. In Rome, a monarchy, an emperor, could be brought down if enough of the rabble, the mob, enough of the Roman citizens turned against him. It was a continual popularity contest. And what you have going on here is Jesus being the unwitting centre of a popularity contest. These people are hoping that he is going to free them. That is why they're excited. That is why they are celebrating him. If he doesn't do what they want, they will turn on him. And that's what happened later on in the week. And there is some speculation as to whether the people that were welcoming him into the city were the same people who were then saying to the Romans later, you know, kill him, get rid of him. You know, I have an inkling that they probably are the same people, because I think what's happened is they have a view of the Messiah. They thought it was him, they got terribly excited, and he didn't do as their misguided interpretation of the prophecy. He didn't do that. Therefore, he's a fraud, he's a fake, and they've suddenly turned on him. His popularity is now a mob against him. And I think I've probably said enough, really, about Palm Sunday. But it is a major feast in the church. We have palm crosses in the Anglican church, but in the Roman church they do have huge palm branches, and they bless all the palm branches and blah 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 blah. And it's fantastic. It is a huge sort of spectacle. The arrival, the bishop in Paris stands outside the Cathedral of Notre Dame as Christ, so to speak, taking his huge crozier, banging on the great west door, "Let me in, because, I am Christ, standing at the gates of Jerusalem, and I have come to enter." We know, of course, that huge coming to enter hasn't happened yet. And the coming to enter in this occasion has a very unfortunate end before all manner of things are well.